Here, let me open up my notes.
Oh, yes, you need your notes for this one.
Well, not for this one, but for what's coming up.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
I just realized we finished the list and I never looked up a new one.
Oh, well, here, I'll say hello everybody. Apologies if this episode seems chaotic. I told Itisdpayne I'd be able to record hours ago, but I took a long nap.
Hey, to be fair, I told you I also fell asleep. But it was earlier, and that's why I answered 30 minutes later. And in my head, I was like, well, I lost the window of hop communication.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, buddy, we still doing this?
Yeah, like once it was like an hour and a half between messages, and Itisdpayne was like, just, checking for time's sake. And I was like, a half hour after that, I was like, oops. But this is Happy Halloween!
Whee! This is Halloween. Ooh, that's DMCA. I don't know DMCA on podcasts. You figure that'd be something doing a podcast for 2 years we would know.
Yeah, we really only were conscious of it once we started putting stuff up on YouTube. I realized I had my OBS peeking over in one part of the video, so
it's all good.
I dragged it back over. No, so yeah, today's a little different. We have managed to watch 13 movies already. It feels like we just started this.
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's like 3 months. I don't know.
I feel like I still remember us going, okay, we're finally starting the Predator movie and starting off this whole series.
I think it's just ever since we switched from talking random nonsense to let's talk about movies and TV shows. I've watched more TV and movies than I have in recent years.
Yeah,
so
it really
for me,
kicked
I'm
off
like,
with Over the Garden Wall, huh?
Yeah, and I don't know. I just been like, I kind of want to watch Over the Garden Wall.
'Tis the season. I already did my annual rewatch. Might do it again today. It's nice and short, and I have some crochet projects I want to work through.
Today, you got like, by the time we finish it, it'll be tomorrow.
But let's see. So yeah, we have a couple different screens going on. We have our videos for YouTube, and
wait, one more thing before. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Finish what you're saying. My brain is thought of other stuff mainly because of what I watched last night. But okay. Go ahead, finish thoughts, and then I will say the thingy.
The only other thought I had is if you're an audio listener, you might be missing on part of this because we put together this wonderful interactive way for us to order the 13 movies.
It's not a tier list.
It's not a tier list.
And we both can move it, and Hop gets mad every time I move one specific item. Which I don't think will be moved for much longer. But yes, the one thing that we said last time is that we were going to give another hint of what we're doing next week.
Yes.
And then at the end, we are going to reveal
what the next series is. Yes. So
how about this? Since this was yours, you're the one that brought what we were watching next to the table. Mm-hmm. I'll give the next clue, and then you can reveal it.
Okay.
Amazing acting. Okay, no, but for real. Oh man.
I was expecting you to say military experiments.
Experience? Yes, the military experience. Yeah, experiment. Yeah, I was thinking that, but
so far we have lots of teeth. Did water. You say and water?
I think I said water. Yeah, and then
fantastic acting
and you guys got 2 for 1. Military. Yeah. So if you guys can put that all together, my statement still stands. Please go outside.
Yes, I thought for the next set of movies to watch, since all of the movies within this universe were made with serious intentions, whether they were made with intentions other than making money, we cannot agree to. But these were all meant to be consumed as serious films. Versus what I introduced as our next little movie watch through.
It's an art project.
Yes, it's a passion project.
It's a passion project that there's, well, peek behind the curtain for everybody. This is Wednesday, so in like 3 days we're gonna be recording this next series, which I'm really glad that I was like, you know what, just in case this goes late, because I normally watch these movies on Wednesday, I'm like, let me just watch it on Tuesday. I know I'm not going to stay up too late. Let's just watch it. And I'm glad I did.
Yes, me and scheduling is just pure chaos. But okay.
That's all good. This is not our normal recording time either.
No. But
I also
not
remember
too long ago we had to record kind of like this time frame on a weekday, didn't we? Yeah.
You know what? This is why we both took unplanned naps, because remember, we were really tired talking about Alien 3, because I believe that's what it was.
Okay.
I think it was Alien 3 because I think we were both like tired and we're like, this is not our normal day, but this is what is. And then so we took naps, so now we're awake and
I ruined my sleep schedule, but you know.
It's all good. I never fixed mine.
So.
That being said, I was testing because I was looking around my apartment as I was cleaning it. I found one of those oil diffuser things I bought like years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll put one of these things in my room just to like make it smell a little bit nicer since it's getting cold out. And well, it wasn't cold today, but it's like air gets stale. So
because you can't open the windows.
Yeah, because you can't put the windows. And then, so I put it in there, and I was like, man, I had some good sleep. And so I looked it up, and apparently lavender oil, they claim, yeah, that gives you the, like, restful sleep. And I'm like, huh. And then I was reading other, like, concoctions you could do with the oil stuff, and I was like, well, let me mix this. And they're like, yeah, this is another good option. No, it wasn't.
The internet lied to you.
Yeah, it's the only one I tested. But anyway, we'll talk about weird science stuff and its reality later. Possibly never. That's a different podcast.
Not our podcast.
Not ours. So, So should we roll a die to find out who's gonna open up? Like,
yeah, we could roll the dice for anyone who is stumbling upon us now, because I know if you do watch us on YouTube, I've been slacking with thumbnails. I had major life event, and then when I felt like I was kind of coming back from that, then I ended up really busy. So.
No, good. As I said last episode, I think it was, if anyone's going to complain to Hop, I'm going to punch you in the nostril.
In just one nostril? Impressive. It's good aim.
Yeah. Got little hands.
But yes, we roll dice because we are major nerds when it comes for things like role-playing games, amongst other things. So like Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu. Itisdpayne has a lot of content he puts out online for all those things. I do them just myself on the side. And you roll a lot of dice in those. So we roll d20s to see what order we talk in. And if you've been following this series, you know this format's a little different, where we will be going through the 13 movies we've watched and need to come to an agreement on the rankings we'll go from worst movie to best movie.
Yeah, so I have a theory that the extremes, the lowest of lows and the highest of highs, will be close for us.
Yes.
I think 13 is confirmed, but and possibly 12. We'll see. But
I think we both have an agreement on 1 and maybe 2. Maybe even 3. Mm-hmm. And personally, everything in between that, I'm like, give or take.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna down any hills for any of these.
Yeah, it's It's so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. But we were thinking because normally we do tier list for both of us, and we both thought it'd be an interesting take to be like, what let's rank them, but we have to agree. It's gonna be interesting the next series of movies we're watching because that's just an experience. We're not ranking anything with that except our sanity.
Yeah, I didn't expect to rank the next set. That one was just a nice, a filler arc.
It was. It's to help us to be thankful.
Yeah, in anime, you go to the beach or you have summer vacation. For us, we go from serious sci-fi horror to, oh, okay.
We would have reviewed Over the Garden Wall again if we thought we could get away with it within the same year.
But, all right, so I rolled a 17 on my dice roller app on my phone.
I rolled 2.
2?
Yes. So
then I get to start with lucky number 13?
Yes.
All right. So
here, let me open up my notes.
Oh, yes, you need your notes for this one.
Well, not for this one, but for what's coming up.
All right, but for anyone who's wondering, we do have episodes regarding each of these movies individually and kind of us talking through different plot points, talking through our different opinions. Some of the structures are not the same between every single episode, but for the most part, we do kind of talk about the movie in its whole throughout all the episodes. Mm-hmm. And I know the episode names, we've started getting more quirky with them, so you won't be able to just go in the catalog and look up Predator. Well,
they do have the movie that we're reacting to in parentheses at the end. So that way, when you look at the title such as
Romancing Xenomorphs.
Oh, it wasn't romancing. I think some of the reasons why we got some of the views so quickly. How to seduce a xenomorph.
Oh, because you put a how.
Yeah, how to seduce. And I wasn't even thinking about the how, but it was just like, yeah. Just like, man, I like to hope there's just some just buck wild people out there that are just like, oh, seducing a xenomorph. And it's like, well, you belong in this movie. Any poop.
All right, so then I'll go ahead. I have the easy job. I have movie number 13. Mm-hmm. If you listen to the episode, you will find that I did not... Did I have anything I liked about this movie? I think you found one or two things.
I think, yeah, because I remember when I said I try to find at least one good thing in this movie, and then that not in the movie, but I was like, I want to find at least one good thing, and then I realized as the series went on, it didn't.
It didn't pan out, yeah.
It didn't pan out, but it was like, yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was...
I do have a couple of notes, actually, because... Mm-hmm. For about less than half the movies, I kept decent notes in the spreadsheet so that if I, preparing for this episode.
Yeah, I'll look through my notes and see if I can find the things that I liked.
In Predator 2, I wrote the positives are that it's funny, unintentionally so. It has some solid side characters, mind you, emphasis on the side characters, and explosions. My negatives are...
the whole thing.
Lost brain cells... Overuse of effects, terrible plot twists, pretty racist, terrible sound mixing, and heavy on the plot armor. Just, pretty racist. I forgot to say misogynist as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like all these movies. Except, well, no.
No.
Pray they try it, and then she just kills him. She beats him up. No, not all the movies.
No, I think our number one movie doesn't have blatant misogyny. It's just gaslighting.
Yes.
Anyway.
There's a general distrust of women in this whole movie collection.
Guess
what?
Enough,
it doesn't stop with this series.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was talking to someone about...
How dare.
The topic of women's rights over the weekend,
mm-hmm.
and I made the joke that I did during the episode when we watched Prometheus. I was like, guess what? Even in the future, in 100 years.
So, finish that story. What was their response besides pure confusion?
Anyway, yes, I'm Good morning. Okay, so number 13, I think without a doubt, is Predator 2.
What I found my notes and about Predator 2. I agree. Predator 2 is my number 13 as well. I think the one thing I did say that I did like how they showed off new Predator tech and weapons.
Oh, yes. Except they weren't invisible most of the time, so I was
They weren't
very
invisible,
confused.
yes, but like they just it was neat to see them. Like just like all the extra tech that they had.
Yeah. Well, I need more space next to these numbers to squeeze these in between.
No, that didn't work the way I was hoping.
Yeah, I can just put... It's okay. All right. You
What
get
about
to take
this?
it with...
Boop. Just to add another tab.
Where'd it go? Oh.
Hold on, it's gonna keep moving.
Oh, God. Don't worry, guys. We know what we're doing. We're professionals.
Exactly. We're strummers. Well, oh, it's real hard to see that 7 now. The 7's not gonna fit.
Just can you erase some of the spaces in front of it? Yeah, that should be fine.
There we go.
Look, we totally know what we're doing.
Exactly. Please ignore the fact that it's really hard to read anything once you get into that xenomorph head.
It's all the same color now.
Yes. Okay, so I'm reading my notes. Okay. I don't remember when I wrote these now. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like,
I know you messaged me and you're like, all right, I have my rankings down. I was like, oh, I should do that.
yeah, I think I did it at work. I don't know when I did this, but I'm looking at it and I was like, which one is this? And it's like, I'm trying to remember if I'm thinking of okay, looking at the poster, I put the Predator.
You put the 2018 Predator in 12?
That's why I'm double looking at it. And I think, I don't know, I want to put Alien Cubed there.
That's what I have in 12.
I think that's what I originally put. And then all I could remember was us just yelling at Big Boy. But no, I think Alien Cubed was there before. And then just in my confusion, I switched them. But no, Alien Cubed, I think, because originally I wrote down a bunch of numbers, and then I was like, wait a second, I'm missing 4 movies in my list. But no, I do remember, that's why I got confused looking at my list. I'm like, wait, why is Alien Cubed one higher than it should be?
Who let this one get up here this high?
Yes, but for people who don't remember Alien Cubed or didn't see that episode, Ripley is on a prison planet and finds love in the most awkward of ways.
Oh, I guess should I give the little synopsis of Predator 2 before
you did. You said it was racist.
Okay, so Predator 2 is the I'm a tough tootin' cop that can do whatever I want, and then put in a predator.
Mm-hmm.
That's that movie.
Yes. So yeah. Yeah, this and the other thing is Alien Cubed. We keep making joke Alien Cubed. Alien 3 is it's just very boring.
Alien 3, I think after I looked up the facts on it, that it was more or less an unfinished movie that got produced anyway, makes a lot of sense in the way that it actually portrays itself. I do wish we got a movie with the guy as the main character or Newt as the main character, because James Cameron in Aliens introduced some really cool characters, and then whoever wrote the script, because the script kept changing for Alien 3, was just like, no, we need Sigourney Weaver. It's like,
no, get rid of him.
Give her a break, man. It's been, I think Alien 3, it was 57 years of her being asleep or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, welcome to the prison planet.
Yeah.
So, you can feel free to move that to where you...
I am. There we go.
Yes.
I will say, because Hop and I were talking about it this week, and I was like, because we were saying like it would be cool if Man and Newt, we forget what the man's name was, but if they were in that movie, and I was like, I want them to be in the movie, but I still want Ripley in the background doing everything that she did in that movie, where she blamed me just saying that I wanted Bishop in there, which. Yeah, the Bishop scene is awesome.
Yeah, but, I was gonna say that's one of I did do positives and negatives for Predator 2. A positive for Alien 3, really cool effects in some scenes.
Yes.
But it takes a long time for the cool effects because the early effects are all really bad.
There's bad effects throughout the whole movie, and then there's Bishop.
And then there's the Bishop scene, which is really good. And then I think the other positives I gave this one is it was kind of neat seeing Ripley, like, I don't know, it was kind of tired at this point to watch her get gaslit, but it's always fun to see Ripley go, all right guys, buckle in, I'm gonna have to do this again.
Yes, she didn't. And
I did laugh.
Have to do it before.
Yeah, and I did laugh a lot when the alien exploded from the temperature difference. I did laugh a lot at the scenes that they were hitting on each other.
I like the voices. I do like how everyone talked.
Yeah,
it felt like
setting for the prison planet wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yes. We were expecting much worse, which I think if this wasn't made in the 90s, I think if it was made either 10 to 15 years later or 10 to 15 years earlier, if it was made in the 80s or like the late 2000s, I was like, yeah, because like, yeah, we gotta, well, in the late 2000s, it was like, we gotta be edgelords. Now I'm trying to remember movie history, because I think in the late 2000s the one is like, because I think in 2007 is when like a lot of really good movies came out, so it might be mid 2000s I'm thinking. But anyway, back when I used to watch movies, but it's just like, I feel like people would have probably been willing to push the limit, and we would have not. It wouldn't have been we might have gotten a better CGI alien, but it would have been gross all around. Yeah, when did The Cell come out?
But I do feel as though the what was I gonna say? Music choices were terrible in this. Sound mixing was terrible in this. Structure of the movie, pacing of the movie was terrible.
If you guys want to know, this movie was so exciting, and the climactic end of the movie, I fell asleep.
It was the same thing. It was a lot of running and like terrible camera shots, and they're like, "It's catching on to us. Close the doors." And it was just like, I can't tell what's happening anymore.
It really felt like they were trying to fill space so they could get that 2-hour mark or however long the movie was.
It could have been an hour-long movie.
It could have been an hour and a half, and it'd probably work a lot better. It worked really good for one movie.
All right, so then we have number 11. So this may be where we have to start discussing, because, again, I'm not dying on any hills for these movies. For 11, I had AVP 1.
Yeah, I had, so, I have that at 10, but it's like, I also had the Predator.
2018.
Yeah, 2018, the Predator. The one, I don't know, it was just, I'm like, now I'm sitting there kind of like, because these are all knee-jerk things, and I'm like, okay, so if those are the two movies coming at each other, my brain is like, okay, which one was I more entertained with, like, in the scenes? I'm like, okay, well, action-wise, the Predator, I do think their action scenes and stuff were better laid out than some of the, well, no, definitely better laid out than AVP. Because AVP is just like, just a ball of punching. And it's a wrestle. They're wrestling. Just with, yeah, it's a Alien versus Predator mud wrestling match without the mud. Just acid and teeth. And a little bit of love.
A little smooch.
Man, What's it with humans and all the aliens, like, not, like, every alien, like, creature, not just Predator and Xenomorphs, that are just like, yeah, I do that. Just like,
Yeah.
like,
Sorry, I can't. I can't explain reasons for people because I watch those scenes in the movies and I'm like, hmm, not for me.
yeah.
Not for me.
It's
So,
like, it's like I see the news and social media. Y'all can't even get along with each other. What makes you think you're gonna fall in love with some dude or whatever they are? Just anyway, that's a different conversation.
different conversation. Okay,
That's
so
for the Patreon. That doesn't exist.
In AVP, I have like the plot breakdown and notes because I was taking better notes during this time of the movies. All I wrote for things I enjoyed in AVP 1 were some of the effects were sufficiently gross, specifically just the egg laying scene. I did like that scene a lot in that effect. And things I didn't enjoy. The intro felt like product placement for Wayland Corp. It feels weird that they chose to have the actor for Bishop play Mr. Wayland. And then you gotta love a movie that could have existed if they just, didn't have the full beginning 30 minutes of the movie. I think that was my biggest problem with it, where a lot of the premise was the movie only existed because people were like, I know better. And it's like, but there's no reason for this movie to exist other than the movie is existing.
Yeah, like Sigourney Weaver. Wow, why can't I say her name? She didn't even want to be on it. She's just like, no.
Yeah, she agreed to do Alien 3 to get out of AVP.
Yeah, and that was in the 90s. I also have to remember an important factor that I gave other things is I fell asleep in AVP. I did not fall asleep in The Predator. Now, we will ignore the fact that I watched AVP within hours of me getting off a plane from Texas, but still, I fell asleep. So,
yeah, for The Predator, I wrote things that make the movie fun to watch. Action, because there was, like you said, constant action.
mm-hmm.
I wrote, it's somehow really obviously directed by the guy from the first Predator movie who made vagina jokes the entire first movie.
Yeah.
A fun little twist in the one-liners instead of just like, a lot of the Predator movie franchises took Arnold's lines and just took them word for word. Like even AVP, they take them word for word and then they just don't make sense in the new context to try to use it. But the Predator did try to change it up. Predator is an angry boy as he should be. Costume is neat? ? I don't feel like I was confident when I wrote down that I liked that costume.
Whose costume? The Predator?
Yeah.
Big Boy?
I think it was Big Boy.
Big Boy. That's what I mainly remember. Us saying Big Boy. Oh wait, I forgot. That's when they have the lobotomized dog that's just falling around that they keep feeding explosives.
Yeah, this poor puppy. I said, okay, I laughed when they didn't catch her falling off of the bus. And I also laughed at the kid taping the helmet to himself.
Yes. Proceeding to murder a whole house.
Things about the movie not fun to watch is a very long list. Because
yes.
While The Predator is something that you can sit and watch and laugh at, it actually is one of those movies, the more you think about it, the more you go, hold on. Like the fact that the main guy smuggles alien tech by drinking it and then pooping it, but not pooping for maybe 72 hours.
I thought it was like a week.
Yeah, it was this man needs some fiber. And there's a lot of very 2010 movie aspects women get naked and alien no kill her because she's sitting naked.
That happened? Shows how much I remember this movie.
It's the scene when they're in the science lab and they're in order to go in, you have to decontaminate.
I do remember us talking about this. Because it's followed after the best gunplay scene ever. But I would agree, AVP 1 for 11.
Okay. So there you are, movie.
I also forgot in The Predator, it's like they want to make a Predator verse. because they're just
they're adding a lot of weird lore.
Well, weird lore, like, yeah, because funny enough, like, because yeah, they said autism was like the next evolutionary step for mankind, and
because the predators forgot how to use all their own tech.
Yeah, funny enough, that is a plot point in a book I read years ago, where they're just like, it's word for word the like same thing. Like, these kids that have autism, it's like they're not like worse than they're not. I can't think of the word. They're not as like up to the level that we are. They actually are able to learn at a higher degree, and it was like this whole thing, and it was like, okay, like, it's interesting, and then it's just like, it's hearing the Predator.
So does this mean we agree Predator 2018 is number 10? Because that's where I have it in my list.
Yeah, that would work for me.
All right. Feel free to drag it up there. Look how easy your job is. I think that's the wrong number. I think that's missing a 1. 0. All right. So I guess I'll let you talk. What do you think was your number 9?
Well, let me open up my list. Number 9, I put AVP2.
I did too. Look how easy this is.
Yes.
We're flying through these.
Okay, we'll put it there because we agree.
AVP2.
Yeah. Okay. So what I liked about AVP2 was the fact that it did not feel like a Predator movie. And like, looking at it, it doesn't feel like an Alien movie either. It feels actually like its own thing. Like, now, like, watching in total, doesn't mean that it's the best thing, because I do think the beginning of it does feel very. I'm trying to remember, because the beginning of AVP feels very much like an Alien movie, while the beginning of AVP 2 or Requiem, or every time I look at the word, my brain wants to mispronounce it. But AVP 2 is very much like, it starts off like a Predator movie, and it feels like they definitely learned a little bit, and it's neat because it's like, oh man, the start is the end of the first movie. So it's not like, oh man, what happened? It's like, no, you see exactly what happened. So I liked that. I am a little bit more accepting of the ending after watching Aliens.
Okay.
Because, like, well, that was the one thing I remember. Was just like, man, there's so many that feels like they're just, it's a zombie movie. But no, after watching Aliens, it fits a little bit more in the context of that world. Yeah, so I like that. But I also remember I didn't like any of the characters to my memory. So it's just like,
I had that. I enjoyed that they actually fleshed them out into what feels like real people. I didn't write that I particularly liked them, but I did write that it felt like the Predator 2018 wanted us to care about characters like they do, that like they were able to do in AVPR or AVP2, because it was actually, like you said, it kind of opens with a really dramatic scene in the very beginning, but then after that it turns into like a half hour of kind of like a slice of life thing where you jump around to, how many families was it? It was like 4 or 5 different families.
Because there was the
military family,
the brothers, love interest, the sheriff, and then the diner. But like, the diner's just the murder house. Like, you
the murder house.
If you work in there, you're dead. Sorry, spoilers everyone for these movies.
And then the things I wrote that I didn't enjoy for this were the graphics and the I wrote graphics, but I think I meant special effects for the first movie were already really rough, and these are somehow even worse. And then again, I brought up the same point. Why does this movie even exist? If you took the people out from the first movie, it never could have happened. And then if you took the people out of this movie, it'd be maybe 30 minutes long.
Yep.
But it does at least try. It feels almost like a I can't think of what other set of movies, but it's very much kind of, I think I said it's kind of like the way they tried to portray some of the newer Godzilla, like the American-made Godzilla movies, where you really get attached to people versus the scenario, and then the people that you got attached to are forced to deal with the scenario, and then in the end, you have the choice A or B. Who's gonna live? Group A or Group B?
Or Group C, a nuke. I think that's how, like, if I remember correctly, how the old Godzilla movies were.
Oh, okay.
And are. Like, not even, like, the old Godzilla movies. Like, I think that's kind of how they're focused, the ones from Japan. Like, they're just focused, like, more on the people in that area. And, because, like, it was pretty much a whole, like, hit piece on, like, yeah, nuclear stuff is bad. And, like, especially at that point, it's like, I wonder why they think that. Because, well, Godzilla is a giant walking lizard nuke. So, I think that it also came out, like, the first one, I want to say, came out shortly after World War II. Anyway, that's a totally different movie series that I love. So yeah, I would also say that looking at the movie poster for Alien vs. Predator 2, I am sad that there is no Santa Claus. It looks like they are fighting. It looks like a Christmas movie.
I can see that, but it does say in the top, this Christmas there will be no peace on Earth.
You know what? In the Christmas season, for some reason, always has one horror movie that comes out like the first week of December. Yeah. It's always terrible. I shouldn't say always.
It's always Krampus, right?
Not always. Like, one of them was Krampus. I can't remember. Like, because I remember I used to watch them because they're like, well, the Krampus movie, I don't know. I'm going to start getting into spoilers of what we're talking about next. So whatever. Let's go on to number 8. What'd you put for number 8 as I open up my list again?
Number 8, I put Predators.
This is going to be a short episode because that's what I put.
Easy mode.
It's like we're friends.
All right. So I guess we have kind of been like doing vague synopses for some of these. Predators is, imagine instead of the predator coming to you, they bring you to them.
Oh, wait. I also have another good description for this.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a tough guy and you got to listen to me. I also have anime powers.
Good old Adrian Brody. But yes, so they bring him out to a predator planet. It probably isn't even the predator home planet. It's just their hunting planet. Because they also go, hey, remember this alien species you've never met before? We kill them for fun. Ha. Then we go after the humans. But overall, as a movie, I think I wrote things that make it fun to watch. They're back in a jungle, which was very important to me after watching Predator 2. Because Predator 2 was like, we're in the urban jungle. It's like, all right, but it doesn't make sense to me. But yes, they're back in the jungle. Lots of special effects, very big budget, very big actors. They tried to bring back parts of the mystery, but they kept doing exposition dumps, so it kind of like undermined itself. They had a large variety of people that didn't feel like just caricatures.
Fishburne.
This is, yeah. I realize a lot of my
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I realize a lot of things that I say I like are literally because they're the opposite of Predator 2. Because I wrote specifically, the people in this don't feel like caricatures, which is what happened in Predator 2.
I do think some of the, like, definitely the Danny Trejo, Lawrence Fishburne, like those, feel like those big name actors, like, they got names. I'm trying to think of any of the other ones, but no, like those two guys, like they came in, and even though they were only in it for like a little bit, it was like they didn't like detract it, or just, it didn't like derail the movie. It was just like, it was like a fun little bit. I don't know. I still remember Lawrence Fishburne just like, I'm gonna set y'all on fire and smoke you out.
Yeah, that was wild.
It's like, I don't know. I had suspicions the whole time, but But yeah, and then like I don't know, it was interesting, even though foreshadowing of like betrayal possibly, and yeah, the
It's
Russian guy
very
Russian
it
guy
was a
should have
very
lived.
heavy-handed movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Some other things I said that I liked were there were some nice homages to the traps and stuff from Predator
Hmm.
1 without it being copy paste. The other monster designs, I liked some of the unique monster designs in this. I liked the dog better in this than in the Predator. The dogs in this at least
Hmm.
felt like dogs that were aliens instead of the Predator where it felt like they put a predator head on a dog, and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. They had a solid use of the voice mimicking. I wish they played into that more because they like didn't let them continue it. They had different outfits for all the different predators, so you can tell them apart, and the costume
Hmm.
designs were pretty solid because they were pretty unique.
This one also had, I think, did you say homages to the older?
Yeah,
Yeah, like I was just saw the P1 waterfall escape was like also done in this, but different. Um,
I like the sets in this one as well.
yeah. I am still upset that the Yakuza man um, started like found out that he had lines just to die.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not cool. Why does the Yakuza or any like Asian uh like a tough guy from there is just like, I don't talk, and it's like, oh, but I
But
do.
yeah, I talk when I need to, and I
Yeah.
only do things when I need to kill. It's like, all right, they can have some more
Or when
personality
I need to
traits.
be killed.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, some of my negatives with this movie is it feels like they did a lot. While there's some cool homages and scenes, some of them felt like they were trying to just redo scenes from Predator 1 and try and
mhm.
kind of string along a plot around it. Things are so spoon fed to us. I got
Excuse me.
mad that they changed the heat vision. I wrote it in
Hmm.
capital letters.
You know what I was just thinking? Because I think we shared like what people were like, oh, it'd be a really cool Predator movie, and like since excuse me, after Prey came out, and they were like, oh, what if they did like one from feudal Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and how how there's ties in Prey. I'm pretty sure we're gonna bring that up to other movies. I was like, you know what? It would be interesting if they do the the Japanese like feudal Japan one, if it ends with the legend of that predator being sent through the timelines to that person.
That would be interesting.
I don't know how they'll do it, but
It would be interesting.
then
Uh,
again, that story is not confirmed. That's just fan stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's other options besides Japan. Like, anyway.
Some things I wrote. Another thing that I hated. I forgot that I hated. I hated the guy, the prisoner. I
Yes,
hated that character. I
Mr.
said that he didn't.
Orange.
Yeah, he didn't die soon enough, in my opinion.
Why did he keep getting protected? And then they tried to be like, oh, redemption? No. Just
No, yeah,
get
just
rid
do
of
it. Just
him.
end it. Oh yeah, and this one was trying to do too many plot twists at once.
Yeah.
Because there was like the guy that was like, actually, I'm the monster, I'm the murderer, and then there was explosions, and then he's like, you're not dead? Oh no, I'm a good guy, and he's like, I knew you were a bad guy the whole time. I was like, oh my god, there's too many people talking about subplots. This is just supposed to be
Hmm.
a murder fest.
Yeah, it's. I think if, like, I'm trying to think, like, if they didn't have the Lawrence Fishburne scene as much as I like it, and it, like, they had an accident where the majority of the group was taken out away, and then, like, the last third of that movie, which might feel a little bit long, but it was like, okay, Dr. Man betraying the other two while they're trying to get in there. But I don't know. I don't know how it would work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's this one was enjoy. I do remember Predators after just watching P2, and we're just like, oh no, because I think we both like heard or saw reviews. I think you said Strider was telling you like you're watching all of them.
You sure?
You sure? Yeah. And so we were not like Predators was like already like on our list, and then we're like, okay,
It's fine.
yeah, it's an average movie, which is why it's literally almost in the middle of the list.
Yes. So which movie did you put for number 7?
So I think my 5 and 6 can be. So wait, 7. Oh, there we go. Yep, 5 and 6 I think could be switched. I put Alien Resurrection because that was the one I had
Alien
left.
Resurrection here for 7.
Because I went from the top. I filled in like my top 3 and then my bottom 3, which for some reason got switched up. And then I just looked at it and I'm like, and then I filled everything in and I was like, wait, I'm missing one. Oh yeah, Alien Resurrection. And
yeah,
it's
feel
like,
free to plot that bad boy down in
Okay.
7. Let's see if it fits in the screen.
oh yeah, yep.
Screen share
So
still.
boop.
I can squeezes in there right on the edge.
Yeah. So if you guys missed last episode, yeah, Alien Resurrection is literally 200 years in the future after Alien Cubed, and they clone Ripley to get a xenomorph, which is, I think, somehow has queen DNA, which I'm like, I'm still trying to remember because I don't think that was the thing in Cube. But anyway, they do that, and then
No, in Cube they do.
is it Cube? As I said, I fell asleep and it was boring.
Yeah,
That's why it's
in
12.
Do you remember the final scene in Cubed where she falls into the fire?
Yes. Oh no,
Yeah,
I remember
she
the
does
alien
it-
was in there.
She says she does it specifically because she says she knows it's the queen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that. I was more trying to find out if that dude that was real Bishop was actually a fake Bishop because it looked like his head, when it got hit, his ear was coming off. That was more what I was concerned about. But yeah, pretty much it's 200 years in the future. Ripley is now part xenomorph, and the knockoff crew of the Firefly comes in and tries to survive. Overall, as we were just talking about this movie, I do think it's an enjoyable movie, especially after 3. I think it would be fun to do, like, if I was going to do a monster or alien movie night, and I just knew it wasn't people that were in the mood for a long, drawn out, like, 2 movies, like a double feature. I think Predators and Alien Resurrection would be a good average, let's just laugh, have some fun with this movie. Like, it's not necessarily, neither of them are necessarily scary, but they're all, like, they're very action-packed.
Yeah, there's a lot of action, and there's some pretty. I like the way that twists are handled better in Resurrection. I do feel like Resurrection has too many things going on in it as well, and I do. It's the classic Joss Whedon tale that I say all the time. It was ahead of its time. There were a lot of interesting ideas, but it is clear where various studios and various influences were like, but you need to have this because it's an alien movie versus just letting it kind of breathe and do its own thing.
Yeah. But still enjoyable. Like,
yeah, it's enjoyable. It has some interesting aspects. It touches on some things within the alien universe that I think makes sense lore-wise, while without detracting from the original lore, which can be hard to do because at this point, I believe the Alien franchise would have been alive for like 20 years, right? Because this came out in 97.
97. I think it was 19 years because 86 is when the first Alien came out, I think.
Okay. 86,
Anyway,
76?
it's still close. It's still, I don't know. Whatever. It's been out for a long time.
Yeah. It's an established universe.
Yeah.
79 is the first Alien, and then 97 is Resurrection.
I think it's nice the way it is written that it's an end. Like, they can't do ones after this.
Yeah, please stop.
So, because they're
Chill
like,
out.
they literally say there's no more xenomorphs. But, if they were going to continue that, they'd be like, oh, well, we found a planet. David threw it somewhere.
Spare egg.
Yeah, David actually made the moon a giant xenomorph king.
Yeah, David's not in this movie yet.
He's
we'll
in
get
all
to
these
David
movies.
soon.
He is in all. I'm convinced he set up the whole Alien universe. I'm pretty sure he set up the Predator universe. I think he set
You're
it
pretty
up
sure
all.
he's actually Ridley Scott?
I think he's Hollywood.
All of Hollywood.
Yes, all Hollywood's movies are David.
All right. So then I think we can agree which movies are in our 5 and 6 spot. So which one did you rank lower, Covenant or Prometheus?
Segue. I did.
Speaking of David.
I did Covenant and then Prometheus.
So are you saying Covenant 6 or Covenant 5?
Covenant 6. But
Okay,
like
I
the
had
thing
it
is, they're
opposite.
yeah. Like that's the thing. Like I didn't feel strongly with it. They can go either way. But it's
Okay.
like I think my second watch. I think the reason why I put Prometheus higher because on my first watch I didn't enjoy it too much, but then my second watch through it, I was like, okay, even though there's things that are definitely wrong with the movie, I am appreciating it a lot more than I did my first watch through. And then Covenant, the thing is, like, I also really like Covenant. Like, they can go either way for me. Like, I have no problem putting Covenant at 5. But, like, I think I appreciate Covenant for what it is because of Prometheus. I think
that's a fair reason,
I think if I watched Covenant before Prometheus, I would have been like, why is this milkbot making out with everybody?
Yes, the synopsis, because this is, like Itisdpayne was saying, this is essentially a double feature. If you're going to watch Prometheus, you might as well watch Covenant right afterwards. But yeah, so within these movies is the origin stories of the alien, of the xenomorph as it eventually becomes known as. And it's essentially David has lost, he's just lost it. He's doing whatever he wants because it's kind of like an interesting.
There should be
compared
one.
it to.
Oh, sorry, just a button real quick, and then just let you go. David is an android or a synth. He's a synth. He's not some random dude. He is the synth. Like
Yeah, no, I was gonna get to that. I was saying
so
I know.
Go ahead.
I saw some articles consider Prometheus. I forget if it's Prometheus or Covenant. It's probably Covenant. Kind of like another look into the Frankenstein tale, where you have David was created by Wayland because Wayland was gonna just simply use him for eternal life. You know, science, sci-fi, and then David realizes he hates his creators, so he's gonna destroy his creators. And how do you destroy your creators? You create, and it's an endless cycle of death and creation.
Well, until you get to Alien Resurrection, then there's no more aliens.
Yes.
Or is there?
Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, so in the way that like AVP 1 and 2 have like matching scenes, yeah, Covenant and Prometheus kind of have like the same kind of deal. So I think I agree. Like, I think I liked Covenant's setting better, and I think that's why I put it at 5, where I preferred the way that the crew was set up, and I kind of preferred the way that it was more of a mystery. Whereas Prometheus was kind of like, David, how could you? Like, the movie.
Yeah,
But Covenant also doesn't really make sense, because if you've watched Prometheus, then you know David is the bad guy anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think a lot of the points that really hit home in Covenant are because of Prometheus. Yeah. And it's
seeing Jedi David run out and go, follow me.
Yeah, and you're like, no.
Don't do that.
But it's just like at the same time, at the beginning of Covenant, you're like, at least I remember I'm like, I don't trust that synth. Like, and
because he looks just like David.
Yeah, and it took until David showed up for me to be like, okay, Walter's pretty cool.
And then Rip Walter. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with putting Prometheus as 5.
Yeah, they're both.
And then Covenant is 6.
Yeah, they're. I do agree that like I think Covenant story-wise setting and just pacing is more enjoyable, but I also like the argument I was saying was like I don't think it would hit home if we watched them in the opposite order. So,
okay.
But as I said before we even talked about this, both these movies could have been either or for me. Like they could be switched.
They're kind of too intertwined for you to like give one like so many more points than the other.
Yeah.
Again, like it does feel like Ridley Scott kind of wrote these back to back, which is good. It's like when you read a book series and there is a trilogy, it's clearly like he knew what he was doing for both movies.
Yeah. So it honestly though, like I would like to see another, like
I think there's one planned.
I know there's an Alien series, like a TV show. I know we were talking about this, but it's like I think like I want to see David get, like I do want to see the continuation of that story, like because I am interested to see like, okay, well we know he's on the Covenant, and we know that he brought his babies, and like we know that knockoff Shaw, I forgot her name, is like knows, and so like there's always gonna be a time skip, but it's just like it'd be interesting if it ends with like the beginning of Aliens, like the terraforming planet. And it's just, so I don't know. I feel like there's options, but I also think they're set so far in the future it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it does say that while there is a series planned, there is talks of a movie coming to Hulu as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. We're talking about that. So,
it's from a director who leans more into horror than to sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be interesting.
I will say though, like I'll throw this out here, and if we're still doing the podcast, I don't mind if we get an Alien or Predator movie, because I know there's talks of more Preys or Prey-like movies, and there's definitely, I think next year, the Alien movie, there's other Alien content going, like that will be released. If depending on the time and schedule, if we have time, maybe doing like a bonus episode of these movies. I think
extended edition.
Yeah, Elizabeth's like kind of how we'll watch and just like kind of react, and like maybe it doesn't have to be as long as, like I don't know, maybe we just do like a quick, like set a timer like 30-40 minutes, and it's like we're done like that's it. We're gonna have to keep it brief because it's new. Watch it, like what do we score? How's it fit in the rest of the series? So I don't know, it was just a thought, nothing guaranteed, but I think as we begin to talk about more movies and stuff, as we start having other movies or things that come out that are adjacent to what we're talking about, I don't know, maybe we can find a way we can squeeze it in, maybe as a bonus episode here and there.
Would be fun.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, if you guys would be interested in hearing about that and thoughts as new movies and the TV series comes out, let us know at twitter.com/pointlessdisco.
I think
I squeezed it in there.
Yeah, there we go. We forgot about it at the beginning. I think I would like to do the TV show as a series proper, maybe when it's all released or something.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
But anyway, number 4.
Yeah. Who did you think belongs to number 4?
I put P1. I put Predator.
You put Predator. I had put Aliens.
That's 3 for me.
So yeah, that's same for me. I have the 3 and 4.
Yeah. So, well, let's discuss.
We finally have a discussion.
Yes. Both P1 and Aliens, crew-wise, feel very much like the people that we follow feel very similar.
Both very military fitted types
yes.
of.
Yeah, and it's like they're going in, except the Predator's definitely like, oh well, we were not expecting this, while Aliens, they are warned and go
and
in.
Ignored.
Yeah. I gotta remember. I already forgot what order I put these in. Yeah. Okay. Predator 4. And honestly, I might just have this. I might just put Aliens higher on the list because I like sci-fi, but like they're both interesting. Like I think they're both like it's the same thing with Prometheus and Covenant. Like I have no problem with one of these taking the higher rank than the other.
That's fair.
So
For me, I think the reason I give Predator a couple more points than Aliens is I think I like the structure of the movie for Predator better in terms of, like, Aliens is a very good sequel and it's a very good action movie and it has some really cool scenes in it. But Predator, I think, as an individual movie outside of the universe is a very, like, strong exploration on you take tough and bad guys and put them against a force that they don't know how to deal with. Versus Aliens, it feels like more of a fun redemption movie. And I think for me, that's why it's kind of like, if you take that movie as a standalone, which I know is not fair. It is a direct sequel.
yeah.
But
Well, I
looking
kind
at
of did it with Prometheus and Covenant. So
but like taking the movie as itself, it kind of is. It relies on another movie, right, for
Yeah.
it to hit home.
yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, because as I was thinking about it, I'm like, the whole first part of the movie, could it be like if you'd just watch Aliens, you'd be able to piece things together, but like
They really bank on you liking Ripley.
that and knowing why she hates synths, why she doesn't trust
and
the company, why, like, there's a lot of things that they expect you to know already.
Yeah, her hate for Wayland, her hate for the synths, and her extreme knowledge of aliens.
Yeah, and so, which is just funny, like, just watching the first film, it's just like, she just ran a whole bunch. It's like,
She saw a lot of death.
she kicked that cat around.
That cat in that carrier.
Yeah, the real hero. No, it's just like, that cat would have murdered, I think, Ripley if you're like, you're gonna bring me back up there.
It was also interesting to me that they took the time in the first two Alien movies to really emphasize, like, this animals are innocent. They have nothing to do with this death machine that wants to, like, kill humans and take over their bodies. And then everything after that, they were like, dogs, put them in dogs.
Yes.
And I was like, what happened in the universe?
You know what I'm really wondering about is, so in Aliens, like, Ripley and Jonesy, they're back at the thing, and she's like, okay, Jonesy, you're gonna stay here. I'll be back. I think it's like a 60-year, like, didn't they say, I don't remember how many years it was, but it's just like, if no one's taking care of that cat, Jonesy's gone.
Well, I mean, they at least, like, I'd hope that, Ripley would be like, my cat's here.
But it's just like, yeah.
Because everyone was aware of the cat. When
Everyone was with the cat. Yeah, and I'm like, even if she put it in, like, a pet daycare, because she didn't have any friends or family or anybody, like the way Aliens portrayed it.
No.
That cat sat in that daycare thing for the rest of its life. Like, just,
I mean, the cat was already, like, much older than it needed to be, because he also woke up 50 years after the first movie.
I also like to imagine that Ripley just, like, kind of knew and just let Jonesy out. Just like, yeah, you faced an alien, like,
enjoy your
threat.
time on this space station.
Yeah, until we go blow it up in Revelation.
Okay.
Resurrection,
so
not Revelation.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm okay doing Alien, because, like, the your argument as well with, like, Predator being the first, and just, like, we said it earlier, like, the whole Predator series just poorly copy pastes
the first
movie.
It keeps trying to, and it's like, no, you have to do something different.
Yes, and it's like, but Arnold said this line. It's just like, it's like, that meme is like, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it a little bit so no one knows. And
hey, do we? I want to go watch Predator. We have Predator at home.
Yeah, brings out the Predator 2018. Big boy. But yeah, it's overall, like, I remember when we were watching this, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's where that meme's from. That's when that meme. That's what this line's from. Oh my goodness." There's just so many things, like not just within the
from
Predator
pop
universe,
culture.
pop culture, and just memes, like that have come from this movie. And it's like, unfortunately, memes is a very strong thing, but it's like when it comes down to personal taste, we gotta. It gets you a third, which is better than others.
Yeah, like, we do like all the movies on the top line. Like, don't get us wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's, 5 and 6, it doesn't. They're not bad movies.
I would
it's
say
not
8
like 11
up.
and 12.
8
Yeah.
up we enjoyed. 9 to 13.
I could not have 12. I could continue my life never having seen Alien Cubed.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could have lived my life not watching 9 through 13, but we're not in that better timeline right now. So
We're in the darker timeline.
we are in the fulfillment timeline where we watched them all because
Commitment.
I don't remember who mentioned it. It was a team effort. So I feel like we need a drum roll. For number 2. I don't know. I have a feeling I know what number 1 is. I know what it is on my list.
I know what it is on my list, and
I
therefore
hope
2
so.
is also very obvious on my list. So,
Aye.
but as a whole, it is interesting looking at the spread of the movies before we get into these top 2. The Predator movies are all like on the bottom line except for Prey.
And Predator.
The original Predator, yeah.
It's the beginning and the end were real strong. It's and that, like as we were saying, like Predator is a fun movie, and so it's like it's not that it's terrible, but it's just like
it's not a good installment in the universe.
I also think like where we are in the entertainment we like, it's like not that we won't dislike dumb action and just like straight guns and everything, but I think if I had to go out on a limb, we both like a little bit of the mystery and like science and just also trying to figure out like kind of in this universe what are they trying to do, what is like kind of how do things fit together, which is like pretty much like even though we're like we didn't need to know the origin story of the xenomorph with Prometheus and Covenant, but we also enjoyed.
We were along for the ride. Yeah,
we enjoyed it, and it's just like, do we need it? No, but in totality, it's just like we enjoy. I think we both enjoyed it, and it's just like that story of David, the story
specifically David. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that he is the protagonist in that.
Antagonist. Pro antagonist.
He is my hero. He's the constant in that movie. Like just how in Aliens Ripley is the constant. Like she is she's a little weird in Resurrection, but it's just like
it's not
even
really
her.
Ripley.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just like her just her story going through. You know what? If we really wanted to, we could also put Alien Isolation on here, so we got a clean 14. I don't know if you ever played Isolation.
I've played parts of it. I've never completed it.
It's a fun game, but I will also say it gives me the same feeling as some Alien movies where it's just like it's just a touch too long.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah.
So then, I guess I'll say it. My number 2 is Prey.
Oh, I put P2.
2 for P2.
Yes. No, I also put Prey.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to Alien is just kind of the perfect sci-fi horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Prey is a very, very strong installment in the Predator series. Like, a lot of movies, it kind of like how in, like I said, in, which movie was it? AVP 2, they had the characters, and then they had the circumstance. Prey actually pulls it off the best, where you slowly are introduced not only into the characters, but also kind of like where you are in the timeline of things. You get an understanding of culture, you get an understanding of landscape, and it really helps build the world around you without it being the whole, hey guys, did you see yesterday I did 50 things, because that's where we are right now. And it builds it up in a nice way. And then they introduce this element where everyone's like, kind of like how in Alien, where she's like, guys, there's something out there. And they're like, you're not a hunter. You don't know what you saw. She's like, no, I saw something. I heard something. They're like, no. Go back home. You need a nap.
Yeah, it's really funny just seeing how she put the predator blood on her face. It's like, man, she's real good. It wasn't a xenomorph. Just like screaming. But it's just like, yeah, Prey was like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if we made it clear. We didn't realize Prey was coming out until we started recording.
Yeah, we had already watched.
I think we watched P2 at that point.
And then squeezed in Prey into the timeline. And that's why we had
AVP 1 and 2 together.
Yes. As a compact episode.
Like now, like in a whole, I think putting Prometheus and Covenant together, even though it would have been real rough to watch both those movies back to back, I think it would have been interesting to do that in one sitting. But
I think it
would have been a lot to unpack.
It would have just been a lot, because those movies have a lot going on. AVP 1 and 2 are very brain dead.
Yes, that's why they're on the bottom. But yeah, it's like also when we were watching it and like everyone's just like, hey, women, and it's just like, no, shut up. Like, we obviously didn't watch the same movie. But yeah, it's just there is CGI in this movie, but it's just like, it doesn't detract. It does play homage to some of the Predator tech that we see throughout the series.
One of the best Predator reveals.
Yeah. And then just what Leonardo DiCaprio should have done in Revenant, just rip the bear in half. But I've never seen that movie. I own it, I just never watched it. But yeah, it was interesting, like, because of this, when we watched it, we watched all the Predator movies. Well, no, because you watched it, I think, a week before. Because
I had watched it twice, because I watched it under I originally watched it under the assumption of, every other Predator installment has been like poop, meh at best. And then we sat and we started watching it, and we didn't say a single thing throughout the movie. We were just like, oh, it's a cool movie.
Yep. Which gave hope for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we're going to have a little break in the movies, because you were like, wow, P2's so bad. Predators is kind of meh. I was like, The Predator is garbage. I was like, you'll get a break. You'll get a little bit of a break.
No, I like living in my misery. But yeah, there was just, it felt like the pacing, the journey, everything.
The final battles felt like they actually, it felt like everything mattered.
It built up to it. So
the stakes were very high.
And I'm also glad, I don't remember the actress's name for Prey, but she is like now getting attention because of that movie. Like, she just won an award. I saw, I think, last week.
And I believe she's also cast in the Avatar: Last Airbender live casting, and I saw pictures of the live casting for that, and the cast is very diverse, and I do think that they're gonna this seems like it's gonna do a better job than the live action movie.
There's another Avatar movie?
I don't know if it's going to be a live action TV series or what, but they have a very diverse cast, and I forget what nation her character is, but I believe the nation that she's under, they did go for kind of like in this movie where they tried their best to go with first Comanche and then branch out into other Native American actors. Like the different nations in the Avatar: Last Airbender movie, from what I could tell, they are trying to go. Each nation is kind of like different nationalities, so that it feels like a diverse and real world.
I barely watched Avatar the TV show, so I know they shoot fire and wind and earth and water.
There you go. The 4 elements, the intro.
And then metal and wood.
Because they are derivatives.
But no,
don't forget blood and lightning.
Okay. I was just going off I think it was the Chinese wheel of elements.
Okay.
I sure we'll throw blood and lightning in there. Let's you need to do blood transfusion somehow.
But yeah, so Prey is
gravity bending. Where's that one? I don't know anything about Avatar except there's a little bald kid and a bison that flies.
Appa. But yeah, so Prey is very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was, for the longest time, was number one on the list, but I kind of knew from
we
as soon as
already knew what would happen.
Yeah, from beginning this series, we both knew Alien was going to be top tier, and it's kind of crazy to me. Every rewatch, because at this point, I think I've watched Alien once a year for the past like 3 or 4 years. Not necessarily for the podcast, just because like I like the movie.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like it more every time, which is not easy for a movie to be able to pull off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like every time you like, because this is the second year in a row that I watched it, and I remember I think in total my third time watching it, and it's like just the storytelling and just the way it progressed and everything. It's like it's honestly between like Alien and Prey, it's kind of a little bit similar, where it's like it shows the life of the crew and it shows everything, and then the strangeness happens where the xenomorph shows up and there's like a threat. The one thing I do think that's interesting, like, because I feel like if we talk about Alien again, we're gonna just rehash everything that we've been talking about the last two years. Because like Alien, like we knew Alien was gonna be high on the list because it won the bracket in 2020.
Our Halloween full
2021.
Halloween bracket.
Yeah, last year. But so we knew it was going to be high up there and it was going to be hard to dethrone it. But like I think Prey probably came the closest. I think the nostalgia factor definitely weighed heavily in Alien. And then I lost my train of thought. What was I about to say? Yeah, no. Whatever I was about to say, it's gone. I'm like looking at the tier list over here, how we ranked it, and I was just trying to see if I could jog my memory. But whatever I was about to say, it left. And I don't remember
Goodbye,
what it was.
thoughts.
I will remember it in the middle of the night and yell at myself. Now I'm just trying to remember what I was talking about right before. I don't know. What do you got? You got anything that you want to add to this?
For me personally, the reason that I put Alien as a higher movie than Prey, I think, not just nostalgia factor, but I think it comes down to setting, right? Mm-hmm. Where there are beautiful landscapes in Prey, and Prey, it makes a lot of sense for it to be in this open expanse. And they were still very skilled in making the open expanse feel small. But Alien in itself it's almost easier to feel the tenseness of the scenario, because it's really easy to picture yourself running through this small ship, which, there are a lot of fun facts in the last Alien episode we did. Like, the Alien episode from 2021, we went really into, like, the movie, the strengths of it, and the different plot points, and all the things with it. And then Alien on this watch through, I kind of came in with fun facts, because we were like, all right, we already talked about this movie in detail. Let's kind of like look at it from a different lens and like learn more about the movie. And Ridley Scott tortured those poor actors, but everyone was stressed. Everyone did feel like really human. Like they felt like actual people, and they all felt relatable, even though like I've never piloted a spaceship. Mm-hmm. But I was like, someone listen to Ripley. Somebody finally do something. And then also the setting of the ship is kind of the ship's in disarray. It's very claustrophobic, and it's very kind of just, you even as a viewer feel like it's hard to take a breath throughout the movie once it ramps up, and it's very like edge of your seat. Whereas like Prey is very much like, it is very triumphant, right? Like at the end you go yes, and then at the end of Alien you go, I don't know if I'm allowed to cheer yet.
Yes. I agree. I do remember what I was thinking of was after watching the whole series. So I don't know if was there anything else you wanted to add?
Nothing else in particular. Like, again, top row of movies would say they're worth a watch. You know, especially like the Alien triple feature.
Yes.
-3. I guess technically you need a C3 to watch Resurrection, but like,
Yeah. Take it or leave it. Watch a synopsis on YouTube, like a 5-minute thing. Or just watch our podcast. We explain it. I think after watching all these movies, it really, like, there's a few things that stuck out to me. It was just like how in Predator, the Predator, like, was built to be an unstoppable force. And it's like, and I do think in all the movies, even how, no matter how stupid they got at the end, showed the, like, how deadly a predator is by the, how much just straight up damage it can soak. Of just like, because at the end they're just like, oh, it's got an exoskeleton that heals and all this other stuff. But like, even in Predator 1, it took intelligence and trickery and a big stupid log to just cripple it. Wow.
And they also had to kind of wane it down too.
Yeah, but so it's just like it survived like half a tree being dropped on its head. But yeah, and like, but the fact that it like learned as it went through, and like just every iteration of the Predator that came back like learned more, and it's like that was interesting to see. While an Alien, like it's like, because in the first movie, which makes sense because they don't have weapons on Nostromo. They have like makeshift weapons, but it's just like the xenomorph is built up to be such an unstoppable like terror. But then you get into Aliens and you're like, oh no, these things, like, they're not necessarily like strong, but it's every little piece of them is weaponized. Like, even while you hurt them, you are being potentially hurt or crippled in your ability to combat them or even just get away, because it's like, oh, if you're close enough, well, acid blood, or
acid blood, acid spit, or yeah.
Or if you are not paying attention, face huggers. It's like it is a terror, like, completely on its own. And I'm like, if I had to choose, like, I don't know, it was like you have to either face a predator or a xenomorph. I'm like, well, I'm gonna die either way. But I think the predator would kill me faster. And at least with an alien, with a xenomorph, I know I'm not going to be dragged back to the queen and then have a chest burster, which that looks absolutely terrible.
Miserable.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing with the predator, I think the only other downside to predator is they might toy with you for a long time.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what was that noise? And it's like a weird echo, and you're like, I guess it was nothing. And then you go about your day and you're like, what was that noise? And like it mimics a voice and you're like, they shouldn't be out there at that time of night, but I'm gonna ignore it for now. Versus the alien would kind of just swoop in, drop acid on like your keyboard from its drool, and then just drag you back to be used as an egg casing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd pick predator. I'd rather be haunted by a predator for a week as he observes me and realizes that I never pick up a weapon than
yeah, and then he would just leave.
Yeah, you just leave.
He'd just leave. He's like,
this one's boring.
Yeah, like I feel like he would hunt us and like they're recording another podcast.
They just keep sitting at their computer.
He's talking to nothing. And then we'll gift a tier 3 sub to the predator. Yeah, now that I forgot about the no weapon policy like the predators have, and I'm like, you know what? I probably have a higher chance of surviving because he would see me as not a threat because I don't own any guns. I'm like sitting there thinking, I was like, I do own knives. So
You're in your kitchen. He's like, "Oh, get him!"
I'm just making soup.
Offer him a bowl of soup.
Like
Wait,
that
can
TikTok.
they have soup with that jaw?
I don't know. It
That's
reminds
a
me
discussion for another day. As it is tomorrow.
Yeah. Welcome. Happy Thursday. But yes. So we still have that important announcement, and so Hop, would you like to do the honors of what the people get to listen to next week and what we get to talk about in like 48 hours or
So
36?
If anyone remembers the days before Sci-Fi rebranded, it was like short version of Science Fiction Channel. Now it's like SYFY. But the good old days when it was still Sci-Fi spelled out, I have a lot of good memories of watching movies that had no reason to exist. So I said, "Hey, D-Payne, since we watched a lot of movies with a lot of like high production in that, how about we go in the complete opposite direction? How about we watch movies such as Sharktopus and various cheesy shark films?"
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we'll be doing to give our brains a little bit of a break from analyzing why did they do this to this beautiful series.
Now we are analyzing why did they do this in general.
Yes, all I hope is that you laughed watching Sharktopus. That's all I ask.
I'll have to look at my notes. I think it was more just a constant state of confusion. I'm just like, what is going on here? And then, like, I don't want to say too much about it. I'll save it for Saturday, but I'm just like, I don't know. I can't help it when I watch movies and I see like, wait a second. Like, did you rewatch it for Saturday yet?
I did not rewatch it
Okay.
yet, but the thing that I have with movies is I had a year where I planned to watch a lot of the big horror movie classics, in which I definitely watched Alien that year. And what I would do as a palate cleanser between movies, I'd watch things like Sharktopus, because then it's not like I was comparing Alien versus The Thing, because they're both great movies, but they're different movies. So I'd put in something like Sharktopus in the middle, and then I'd go back and I'd go, The Thing, fresh. It's like watching it fresh. I've cleansed my palate.
Yeah, I sit there and I can't help it. It's just how my brain is when watching movies, like of just different cuts of the thing, and I'm just like, wait a second, they're cutting between two different shots, and there's things that don't line up.
Yeah, I mean, I just laugh throughout those movies.
Oh yeah,
it's very.
Oh yeah, I did have fun, but
yeah, it's nice and brain dead like the AVP movies, except again, they don't take themselves very seriously.
well, the people in those movies I think take themselves very seriously, but the movie as a whole, I don't know.
I would love to be an editor for these movies.
I don't.
Because they're sitting there and they're like, "What's the biggest shock factor?" I know. Cut to the CGI of the Sharktopus walking on the beach. Perfect.
Yeah, there's. I don't know. I have to wait till Saturday. So, but yeah.
But thanks for joining us in this whole long series.
Mm-hmm.
It has been. Like we said, we wanted to start Halloween early as we do every year, and we made this one last for 3 months.
And we actually did start it early for once.
Happy Halloween!
Woo! Yes, happy Halloween. And now the march to Thanksgiving, where we were thankful of brain deadness and sharks.
But the other thing I was going to say is we can't go trick-or-treating with you, but a treat for us would be if you shared this podcast with a friend, an enemy, a coworker. Oh, look at that segue.
Wow. Professional.
And then reviewing us on your favorite podcast listening services. If you're on YouTube, subscribing, liking, or commenting. And we do try to read any and all comments. And if you want to interact with us and want updates on episodes as they're coming out, twitter.com/pointlessdisco.
Yeah. And for people who if you made it this far, thank you. But like, if you really want to help Pointless Discourse grow and to meet more people, like sharing and like reviewing, like good reviews does help the algorithm in some way. Like,
and we'll shout you out if you leave a comment with your review. I know we have a couple of anonymous reviews, and we thank you, but we can't thank you.
If there's words, we still don't know how to read them. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Bye-bye.